Greetings, MATH111. It is section 3.3. This is the last new material before our exam. So just FYI, this is the last new material. Averages and variation. It's also the last section in chapter 3. We're going to talk about percentiles and box and whisker plots. And again, you've probably heard the term percentiles, okay? Maybe you haven't played with box and whisker plots, but percentiles you probably have an idea. Interpret the meaning of a percentile score. Compute the median, quartiles, 5-number summary from raw data. Make a box and whisker plot. Interpret the results. Describe how a box and whisker plot indicates the spread of data about the median. All right. We've talked about central tendency. We've talked about mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variation. Now it's helpful. We've already learned that it's helpful to use graphs, and so. We're going to learn that's what box and whisker plots are, but we're also going to talk about percentiles. And remember, when we put the numbers in order to do median, we looked for the one in the middle. Well, guess what? That's 50th percentile, okay? It's not the mean, okay? That's a different measure. It's the value in the middle. So if I think about all my values, it's going to somewhere between 1 and 99. Perhaps you remember either when you were little or maybe you have a child that was young and they said, oh, they're 50th percentile height-wise, or they're 90th percentile. That means a really tall kid, 90th percentile, okay? Maybe they were really short, 10 percentile, okay? Actually, most states, if a child is under the 10th percentile for height and weight, it has to be, the doctor is supposed to report it to the state because it could be something wrong. I mean, we've all heard these horror stories of a child that was locked up and not fed, malnourished, or maybe they have a medical condition that's not being addressed. Perhaps they can't eat dairy or wheat and they're not being given the right kind of food. So percentiles are an important measure to say, where are you in the general population, right? God did this wonderful thing, and he made it so that naturally occurring things are kind of in the middle, height-wise, weight-wise, size-wise. There's going to be some that are real little, some that are real big. All right, so we see the 60th percentile marked on a histogram, all right? So remember those histograms we learned back in chapter 2. 60th percentile is literally, if I took all the scores and lined them up, there would be 60 of them that were smaller and 40 of them that were bigger, all right? Or 60%, because maybe there wasn't 100 scores, 60% versus 40%. That's percentile, all right? Again, we mark them off, we count in 1%. Let's keep going, trying to get through all this. Quarters, quartiles, right? We split the year up into quarters. Every 3 months is a quarter. Lots of businesses use their quarterly earnings as something they have to report. So quartiles are special percentiles used so frequently that we want to have a special way to compute those. All right, so we're going to have our lowest and our highest, right? We've already talked about that, the highest value, the lowest value. Our median, in the middle, has 2 other names, 50th percentile and Q2, which is quartile 2. Now, if I take the bottom half, so the half that is the lowest values, and take the middle of that, take the median, that's quartile 1. If I take the biggest half, then the middle of that is quartile 3. So I have, this is called my 5-number summary. The lowest, the highest, the median, quartile 1, and quartile 3. Now, when we were doing that little example on my calculator here, back in the last section, what we noticed was that we had we have a minimum value. We have quartile 1, median, quartile 3, and a maximum value. So my calculator actually can spit out that information as well, but we'll learn how to calculate it manually here so that we understand where the numbers came from. So how do we do quartile? First of all, put it into smallest to largest, okay? I love Excel to do that for me. Find the median, this is the second quartile. Find the first quartile, that's the median of the lower half. And then the third quartile, that's the median of the upper half, okay? And we'll look at some examples that help us know which values, because if there's an even and odd, we have to take that into account. There's also something called the interquartile range. Once I get quartile 3 and quartile 1, I simply subtract it. And I think of that as the center chunk, right? So this chunk in the center that tells us what 50% of the population, here's where it sits. All right, so ice cream bars, woohoo, love ice cream bars. So let's say we have 27 ice cream bars with taste ratings of at least fair, okay? So that's how they got on this list. And it says how much do they cost. So they have a whole bunch of values here. We have all these values. First thing we want to do is put them in order. So they've put them in order for us. 16 cents, 17 cents, so on, up to $1.23. Okay, those are clearly not very expensive ones. I want those big, fat, juicy ones. So what is the middle? Well, if I found the median, that was 50 cents. Well, how did we find that? How many values are there? Did it say 27? For some reason, I just lost the number. I'll just count it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. So 24, 25, 26, 27. Yes, there are 27 values. So 27 ice cream bars that they reported the price. I want the one in the middle. Well, what's half of 27 is going to be 13 and a half, okay? So the nice thing is I can just use number 14 because it's an odd number. So let's see, we said there was 8, is there 8 in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Sure enough, the 14th one is my median. Now I want to take the bottom half. Since this is my median, I don't count that number. Well, let's see how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, they made it easy for us again. It's an odd number. What would be the middle number of 13? Well, half of 13 is 6 and a half. So number 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's my quartile 1. Here's quartile 2, or my median, or my 50th percentile. And then I need the middle of the top half. If there were 13 values on the bottom half, there ought to be 13 values on the top half. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Sure enough, there's 13 values. Again, I'm not counting my median, so I need to count the 7th value. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what is my 5-number summary? I have my, I like to write them like this. Highest, because it's the highest. The highest, quartile 3, quartile 2, which is also called the median, or 50th percentile, quartile 1, and my lowest. Right, so my lowest value was 16 cents, my highest is $1.23, my quartile 3 was $1, quartile 2 is 50 cents, and quartile 1 is 33 cents. Okay, so that's my 5-number summary. So we went through that really fast. We talked through it. What is my interquartile range? It's this difference right here. It's this chunk. So $1 minus 33 cents, that's 67 cents. So what does that tell us? It says the difference from the quartile 1 to quartile 3 is 67 cents. So again, we're talking about measures of variation. How different are they? Now, when we were little, if you had siblings, you knew, or maybe you just looked at your friends' parents and said, you gave them more, or you gave them, they got more ice cream, or they got more money, or they got whatever, right? So we all understand variation, okay? That's what we're looking for. How much is this varying? How different is it? I just want to talk I'll use that example later. So box and whisker plot. So we use this 5-number summary, lowest, highest, quartile 1, 2, and 3, and make what's called a box and whisker plot, okay? Now, this is something you can do on TI 83, 84s. You don't need to. I think it's easier to just draw it out. Honestly, on WebAssign, you'll just be picking the one that's the correct box and whisker plot. So you don't even have to spend too much time drawing it. There is statistical software that allows you to draw this nicely if you ever want to use it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is draw a vertical scale, and this needs to be something even. Maybe, in this case with the ice cream bars, 0 cents, 5 cents, 10 cents, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, so on and so forth. However, maybe you count by tens, whatever that scale is that's appropriate for fitting it into the report that you have to do. So you're going to draw, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put a dot at the lowest value, a dot at the highest value. I'm going to put a line at quartile 1, median, and quartile 3. So again, this needs to be an even scale. Again, maybe you count it by 5s, maybe you count it by 10, whatever is appropriate. I have a box in the middle. Remember that inner quartile difference? That's this box. These two lines indicate the bottom end and the top end. So the bottom quarter data and the top quarter data. Again, this is a visual representation of how the data is clumped, okay? I'm sure there's products that you can think of where there's a whole bunch that are fairly inexpensive. There's maybe the super cheap one that you never buy unless you're gonna just throw it away right away. But then there's like something really, really expensive, all right? And maybe you save up and buy that expensive item someday. Where is the what makes sense? How do you, marketing wise, where do you position your product? Do you want to be that super high end that people save up for and they buy and it's really cool? Or do you want to sell volumes and volumes of stuff to the masses? Or do you want to be that super, super cheap? Maybe you sell at the dollar store and you get sales and you don't really care that the product is not so quality, but it's okay. That's where your market is, okay? It's not good or bad. It's just, what are you trying to accomplish? All right, let's see. We already talked through that. So if we make a box and whisker plot showing the calories, so this one is the calories in vanilla ice cream bars. So we're going to use the calories. Again, they've already put them in order for us. So in this case, there's an even number. I think there's 22. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 times 3 is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. There are 22 values. Oh, so that's an even number. So I have to average the 2 in the middle. So when I average those 2 in the middle, I find, oops, let me wait. I thought there was another graphic here. If I average the 2 in the middle, my median is the average of these two numbers. So 209 and 234. If I add those together, whoops, I gotta get out on my screen here. 209 plus 234, divide that by 2, 221.5. So my median is 221.5. So the interesting thing is, since my median is actually a value between those, when I'm figuring out my quartile 1, I use that 209. So again, I think there was 6 in a row, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, at least this time it's an odd number, I don't have to average. So it's number 6, so 182 will be my median of the bottom half. So that's quartile 1. And then my median of the top half, again, since it's between since the median quartile 2 is between these values, I use this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 319. So my 5-number summary is gonna look like, let's erase this one. It's gonna be, the lowest was 111, the top is 439. Ooh, hot baby dog, that's that dog bark. My middle was like 221.5. And then I think it was quartile 1 was 182, and then 319 was quartile 3. All right, let's see if we did that right. Sure enough, my answers match what they got. So this is how we write it out. So again, they counted by 50s, so 100, 150. No reason to start lower than 100, right? Because the lowest one is 111. So 100, 150, 200, 250, so on. So my lowest value is here, 111, so a little bit above 100. My highest value is 439. My median is the 221.5. Quartile 1 is 182. Quartile 3 is 319. So I draw a box around the middle, have a line in the middle, and then I have lines. So that's where this term box and whisker, okay, so these are the whiskers. So what does this tell me? This tells me in this high calorie range, these are more spread out than the low calorie, because there's the same number of values in each section. So different than mean, right, where we took and added them up and found out what one was the average, but it's the same number of values. And that's the part that sometimes we struggle to get our minds wrapped around. This has, what was it, like 6 or 7 values in each chunk. So my top chunk is more spread out than my bottom. I also am more spread out up here than I am in this range. So what this tells me, because this is the shortest section is here between quartile 1 and quartile 2, what this tells me is that the calories for ice cream bars is more concentrated here, okay? There's not so much variation. There's a whole bunch of them right here. So if I'm marketing my ice cream bar, maybe I want to be way down here for the people that are trying to lose weight, okay? You can buy those, 100 calorie little bags that, here's a little snack, it's in a portion size, helps you lose your weight and still have a snack. Maybe it's the decadent, I don't really care what the calories are, I just want something yummy. Way up here, maybe it's the people in the middle that are like, well, I hope they're not too big, but I'm not really concerned about it being 100 calories, I just want something yummy, but it's not too big, okay? Because you just have to figure out when you're a marketing person how you're gonna do that. Okay, and I'll let you read all this because I just talked through this. All right, end of chapter 3. Get ready for exam. Good job.